Oh my god! It's here! Kevin's is here! Snowy-ish is here! Greetings to you, lovely Wonderlandians. I'm Overlord and welcome to my Wonderland. This week, oh my goodness, yes, it is finally here. I have finally received this week my order of the Overlord Albedo Shibuya Scramble Figure 1/7 scale swimsuit version by Alpha Satellite eStream. Basically, I dub her the water goddess of the year, so let's crack open this box. As you can see, I already cut open the outer box because it actually had a little bump on it and I wanted to check if it's okay, but as soon as I took off the first layer, I saw that this is pretty intensely packed, as it should be because of the price range. So just peeling off that satisfying Studio Toys tape, and look, they included some cat stickers. How appropriate. Oh, I love these. I'm gonna have to maybe show my cat later if I'll stick them on him. Anyway, we'll see. And yeah, so you got one bump there, and even though you'd think, how would it get that little bump considering how well this is packed? They even included the corners, which have some fun there with that, and all this bubble wrap goodness. Now the eStream's classic outer box, packaging postal box, I guess, very similar to the crystal dress Rem one I have. So I feel like I've been waiting forever for this. I pre-ordered it in March last year. As you saw, I pre-ordered this from the Studio Toys website. I paid 670 AUD dollars, including postage. So she is probably my, apart from that grail, which I won't include that because I paid aftermarket price for that times 20. She is my most expensive pre-ordered figure. So, and the big question with this is she worth it? A little bit of a crease there, but we'll come to that later, because I will address to why that is, which was in my mind kind of thinking about it as well. Now this was the best way, unfortunately, to take her out. I didn't want to put her upside down, but I thought, okay, well, she's being posted, so that's fine. I'm not sure if you can hear, but it is pouring with rain outside at the moment. A little bit appropriate since I dubbed her the water goddess. Looking at the outer box, and I will say I'm not too impressed. I love the bubbles, I love the text and color scheme, but I think it's the feathers that ruin it for me, because see how close I am? They are so blurry. I would have loved it if they were high resolution and maybe they're a bit grey colored. It's kind of weird, so I'm not too crash hot about the box design. And where is my sticker of authenticity, please? I always like to show it. Oh man, the rain is pumping up a bit there. It's just hit a new level. I hope you can't hear it. I'll try to tone that down in the back of the recording. But it seems like maybe a bad omen. I'm not sure. So cutting this open, it's obviously been opened before. And even though I was trying to, it's already ripped, so I just opened it normally because I couldn't open it as per I usually like without damaging the box. But someone has beaten me. And contact details, I believe, no instructions, so this will be fun. I know I sound a little bit like at first because it was pouring with rain and the box is bent, and I thought but I was like, okay, I didn't get an extra box for wings because that was a bit of a delay because the wings didn't work out as well. I think they were bent, didn't fit on the figure as per the prototype. So what I believe, because I didn't actually get an email about this, is that they've repacked the new wings in here, which I'll be very happy with. So let's see. I'm so excited. This is huge. I was hoping it would be on the larger end of 1/7 scales, because I have quite a few 1/7 scale Albedos and they are all different. Like it's different variations of 1/7 scale. Anyway, I'm looking at this thinking, I turned it around a few times, how on earth am I going to get this out? What piece should I bring out first? You can see my hesitation. She is wrapped really well. They've done very well. But I was, oh, I'm seeing glimmer. I'm feeling a bit more lighthearted now because I don't know why. I saw the bent box and I was like, oh, and oh my goodness, look at those waves. Okay, so I figured that the figure I'm gonna have to pull the figure out first, which is a little daunting because her hair is just extending down the back. It's magnificent. So brought her up carefully. I've been waiting for this figure all year, and since all my other ones I was excited for were delayed, I am so happy that I have her in my hands now. And as soon as I pick her up, look at the softness of the design. Oh my god. The hair! She's so gorgeous. Oh my god. The strands. I'm sorry, I've barely unboxed her, but I'm just in love with the hair and her horns. Oh my goodness. And okay, I was like, oh, can I put it down? I can't because I have to pull the base out. They didn't really think of this. How am I going to? So I have to unbox the base while holding her. So let's see how well this goes. Oh, and I'm trying to show the base as well. Unlike other scramble figures, you don't have to add anything on the base. It's actually probably one of the smaller crystal bases. Here, I'll just show, at least they've got the brand stamped on the bottom of authenticity. Thank you very much. Since they got to make up for the sticker that they didn't have on the side of the box. Tisk. I love the swirl and the coloration, and also the shape of the waves is very reminiscent of the original illustration, which I really appreciate. Now then, try to work out in what order I take the plastic off. I took the easiest one off first, her arm. And she's got a few bags. I completely forgot. I'm looking and I'm like, oh yes, she does have this like cascading dress pieces, and I can't pull those off first, so I'm going to have to get the bubble wrap that's around her currently. And I couldn't find where the tape was, so I thought, okay, I'll cut where it's taped. It's very tricky because I don't want to bend or break anything, even though she seems quite sturdy, I have to say. Taking off the other pieces of plastic carefully. How satisfying. I do love how they've painted it and left a lot of clear parts, but at the same token given enough coloration to give it some prominence in the design. And whoop, that's a cheeky one, just pulling that over the breasts and the gorgeous gorgeous thighs, I guess. Listening to me, okay, this figure has very beautiful body sculpt, I have to say, blushing as I may. And okay, her knee, this was a little bit annoying, had tape on it, so just I was managed to find the tape piece because I wouldn't want to use scissors to cut here because it's just too close to the plastic flesh. Talking of which, this plastic smells amazing. I'm sorry. Whenever you open up a new figure, she smells amazing. Moving on, the knee is beautifully blushed. I thought we'll try to have a look at her back here because it's going to be covered with the wings. And that's what I love, hair and wings, even though they do such a beautiful job sculpting these other parts that we're not going to see much as. So I like to have a look and appreciate and know that they're there before I cover them up. The pegs are actually well distorted in the plastic waves here. As you can see, their skin tone. And she feels very secure on this piece, I have to add, which is good, because the last thing you'd want is her snapping off the base. Talking of which, this was probably the hardest thing, and I really regret putting her on now, because I'm going to have to take her off. Spoiler alert later, to put, the wings on. And look, she has a little wobble. For whatever reason, I can't put her down completely. I want to try to apply heaps of pressure, but at the same token, so I got her fitting on as best as I could. She still, if I put pressure on the other side, wiggles a little bit. She doesn't fit very snug in there, but well enough that I know she won't fall over if the cabinet, rattles or whatnot. Not that that's what I want anyway. Now then, let's get on to the piece of resistance, the parts that I'm going to be most critical of, because the wings. Oh my goodness. So I'm glad that they delayed to redo the wings, because they are a very important part of Albedo's character, in my opinion, even though Taito, I don't think, has that in mind. But moving back to this figure, I do love how they've sculpted the wings here. Not the wings, I mean the feathers! The feathers! Oh my goodness. They feel individual. The top parts are a bit fluffy, but that's to be debatable, because when you look at the anime, of course, they are less detailed. So it's, I guess, trying to find that fine line. But what they've done here, I think they've done a very good job, and they've tried to give as much texture as they can with also shaping it and trying to give that soft feel, but at the same time that individual feeling. Though if I hold on the side here though, the layering seems a little weird. Not that you're gonna see at this angle, but I did think maybe if you had like one feather in the middle just to give it a bit more of a unique robotic feel, that would be also welcome. But I quite loving the layering here, and also the colouring. The fact that you can see like the little stem of the feather, I'm not sure what that's called, in the middle, that's really well textured, and you've got the light blue too to give it to add that, I don't know, to add to that colour scheme, to make it not seem as dull just by having a dark blue or black. Though it is really always a dark blue than black. That would just be a bit contradictory. But looking at the other wing, and this in my opinion has more details, especially near the top, but I'm quite happy with them. So to the dreaded part, I would have loved if the wings were pre-attached, but of course to protect the figure and also to stop it from warping as much, you have to put it on yourself. So I had to take it off the base, which I should have kept it off before. But I guess I had to keep it somewhere to stand while I got the wings out, because I couldn't hold that, and I'd just probably get hand cramp at that point. Putting it in, I found the best way, as I'm showing you there, is to hold it and just to wiggle it in, and I was able to get it in completely, which was really good. And I'm trying not to bend her dress, which is kind of like a see-through poncho. I'm not sure the best thing to call it. See-through poncho? What am I saying? Okay. Anyway, I got the wings on, and she is coming together beautifully. I was just having a look at how they've attached the plastic web-like top to the longer fabric parts. They've actually pinned it in and glued it, so that's quite interesting that it is two different pieces. And getting her back on the base, which with her wings now. So this is kind of like hell a little bit, because I love this figure so much. I don't want to scrape or break anything off. The wings do feel a little brittle, though not as brittle as the Good Smile version, which I'm glad. Those wings felt like I could just blow them and they'll just go snap. Oh, now her all together. I am just absolutely gobsmacked and breath taken away. She is stunning. Without further ado, let's move on to a quick showcase before I give you my final thoughts on this gorgeous figure. figure comparison. She is next to the Good Smile version, the one with the very delicate wings. So as you can see, they're both meant to be 1/7 scale, but the eStream one is slightly bigger. Then we've got the Taito prize figure, of course her Nendoroid, and since I can't wait for a bunny figure next year, but we'll have to do with this gorgeous Rem bunny here to show a scale with a 1/4 version. Now, having these all together, you can see her size, and I'm very happy with the scale. And looking at them, comparing her with her other Albedos, I have to say I can definitely see the price point difference. Her sculpt with the paint job looks so soft and detailed. It's truly incredible. The amount of shading they've put on her is not too much, not too little. Oh, and I loved her. I was looking at her, but now that I've let her marinate in my mind while I look at her in my collection, I am just as happy as my Nendoroid Albedo here. And she's just stunning. Her body sculpt is so beautifully done. You can see the muscles and well-formed shape. Bust and hips are just divine, dare I say. The shape has a realistic enough feel, but with not diving too far away from anime figure feeling territory. So ultimately just enhances the design overall. Her wings are beautifully sculpted, and I'm so glad that they took extra time to make sure that that was right. Her hair is stunning. I was talking to one of my best friends, and she was like, you'd have to get a rotating base, because honestly, how can you not enjoy looking at the back of the figure as well? The hair, the sculpt is stunning. You've got so many individual strands, and how they're all glued in, strategically placed into her sculpt, makes it look flawless. There was a fine scrape on one of the pieces, but I can't tell, it's so tiny. Her horns had this, that's the other thing, the use of the paint, the matte versus shiny. Oh my goodness, like her horns are very shiny, is beautiful, but then her skin has got this matte and very nice peachy light shading to it. Her elbows and her knees have a beautiful blush, and that just helps give the feeling of real flesh, I guess, and just the softness, which makes it more reminiscent and beautiful as per its original illustration. Actually, I think if anything, I prefer this more than the illustration. They've truly done it justice in this three-dimensional form. I love how the hair cascades and gives this feeling of it kind of being wet as well. They've got lighter highlights on it, which in my opinion makes it look like it's gleaming from being wet. I'm not sure the right words for that, but that's it. And I love how it curls down over her elbow, the built up volume. I can still see a lot of it from the front, even though the back view is the best. From looking at the front, you can still see a lot of the hair, which I truly appreciate, being a hair fanatic. The outfit design is gorgeous. This is probably why I preferred her over. I love Shaltier, and I actually had the Shaltier version pre-ordered as well, but I did end up cancelling it because I think it was just her outfit. I love how graceful Albedo is in this one. It kind of suits her, but I felt like the Shaltier version just, I know it's off the design, but it just felt a little bit less graceful, I guess. Her swimsuit is a bit more based off of a school uniform, which I just feel like that she would wear something a bit more adult-like, just because I know I'm an adult. Yeah, I don't mean not safe work. I just meant to compete with Albedo, but I just feel like that Shaltier would have. I love the bows and the thigh band, but I just felt like she could have gone a bit more of an adult look for her outfit. Her hair, I love how it curls down, and then the blood is absolutely epic. Her expression, her hair though, her fringe and hair, if you look closely, or what I've seen at some pictures of the figures some people have received, which look beautiful, but it just seems a bit far from the scalp. Like, of course, all hair is separated, but Albedo has a bit more of a flush hairline than Shaltier's, which is a bit thicker, so it doesn't press as naturally on the face, if that makes sense. But that kind of really bugged me in a way. The last thing that I'll mention, because it was very hard to say no, but is the rose base. Now, if you could imagine, this is just my one gripe, is just if you're sitting on a rose, you'd think that from the weight of the person, it would, bend a little bit out because of that. But no, the rose is like perfect shape with the figure sitting on top, and it just feels a bit uptight and unnatural, if that makes sense. So I felt that, yeah, maybe that's the word I'm looking for. It felt a little bit uptight, even though she does have a bashful, kind of reserved expression, which is, I'm not sure if she is really like that. Of course, in this sort of comparison, I prefer the illustration. They've done very well to recreate that in this form, but that's just my personal opinion, so no hate for it at all. That's just the reason why I couldn't just say, yes, I definitely have to have this. The main reason I did cancel her, however, was because I'm running out of space, and I need a space for my Shibuya Scramble Shiro, which has been delayed. Oh, tears of sadness. Anyway, I didn't get to talk about the swimsuit. So the swimsuit design, I love clothes designs, of course, and I love the pearlescent paint that they've used. The pieces are glued together so well that I have not seen any paint, talking which seams. I only saw one tiny slight seam on like the leather straps that she's got wrapped around her ankles, which was tiny and you can't notice it at all, but that is prime. I love when you can't see the glue or any seams, so well done. And I do love the see-through clear play parts on this, and then you've got the little golden clasps and also the green diamond in the middle, just framing her breasts, which are shaped beautifully. Oh, and her face. I have no words to describe her face. I think her face came out looking better than the prototype, to be honest. The mouth has depth. Her profile on the side got such a beautiful shape to it, and her mouth is open and just looks better shaped in real life than in the promotional pictures. Her eye decals are to die for, honestly. and her nails are painted a dark blue, which looks gorgeous, and she also is sporting her ring that Ainsama gave her, which I really appreciate that detail, and that is also sculpted very well. And what more can I say? Honestly, I'm just all the details, and like I said, I've been looking at her in my collection, and thoughts have been marinating in my mind, and honestly, and at first to myself, I wasn't sure if the figure was worth it, but I love her so much. But now that I've had time to just take it all in, I have to say this figure is 100% worth it in my opinion. She is on the luxury shelf, and I thought this was the most I'd ever spend for the figure, but of course I've got the freeing bunny pre-ordered. I will hopefully pre-order her 1/4 kimono version soon, which is pricey, not to mention I would love so much to pre-order the life-size bust. But if I have to be honest, I have to try to be a smart adult and not pre-order her as much as I would love to. But we'll see. Who knows? That might change. Because I don't know, I can't justify spending 8k on a 1-to-1 scale bust when I should be probably spending that on other things. But we will see about that. My Albedo shrine is blooming. I've almost got a full cabinet of Albedo now, and I am not gonna stop. Talking of which, I was talking to my friends and I said I had to say look out Rem, because I think Albedo has second place in my waifu list now. So you've got Urza, Albedo, now Rem. I'm sorry Rem. And probably Kumiko, Yumiko, etc. Maybe I should do that sometime, a list of my my anime waifus, because I kind of have a shrine for all of them except for Rem. Yes, I know she's gonna kill me. I'm gonna have to do that video soon. But I could not. I had to unbox this, though I have other unboxings plans. Put them aside, make way for this box as soon as it came, as you saw my reaction at the beginning of this video. That was me seeing it for the first time. My brother was like, oh, you've got a package out the front. And I'm just like, ah! Because I know what it was. And I raced outside. So, and she's here, and she is absolutely divine. Okay, I'll stop. I was just so pumped for this figure, and honestly, photos that I've seen online have not done her justice, so hopefully this video can give you a good representation of what she looks like. And if you have the budget and you love Albedo, I highly recommend this, even though it's a hard decision because I know so many other beautiful figures of her are coming out, but this one is definitely worth it. If I was to have a swimsuit version of her, this would be prime. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me today. An extra special thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you enjoyed this video as much as I did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you have a good week, and until next time, stay safe, treat yourself, of course. And I'll see you similar time next week. Bye!